off in a comfortable seated position. Today's practice is a vinyasa flow practice with a focus on flowing through difficult emotions. Today's suggested emotion is worry, but you could work with any emotion that is calling for a little extra love and attention today. So you could start off in any comfortable seated position, maybe a rolled blanket underneath your seat. That can also include lying down, kneeling. Those are some options. So we'll first start off by mentally and emotionally arriving now that we have physically arrived. You can close your eyes or have a soft gaze, your choice. And at any time during the practice, you need to do something, an act of self-care, to take a break, to take space in another form, please feel free. As you arrive in this physical, comfortable, best you can, shape, position, posture, begin to notice what's going on externally. So becoming aware with your eyes closed or a soft gaze of the sounds, of the atmosphere, of your environment. There's something called one eye in and one eye out as part of an awareness practice. We'll first start off just noticing what's going on around you. It may be cars driving by, birds singing, feeling a breeze coming through the window and caressing your skin. And bring your attention inward, noticing whatever sensations arise, what you're feeling, what's coming up for you without any judgments, without any expectations, without trying to fix. Allowing this to be a practice to meet you where you are, and we embrace everything and push away nothing, especially when working with difficult emotions. And you could practice one eye in, one eye out. Right, using this practice of awareness to notice. Again, not to judge. And with that awareness, we ground ourselves first physically by feeling the points of contact of our physical being, of our body, to the ground, to the earth supporting us. Noticing your sitting bones making contact to the mat, to the floor. Maybe noticing if one side is more heavy than the other. The outside edges of your feet. Again, noticing your points of contact and support. Like often with difficult emotions, we can feel ungrounded, especially with worry. Worry being a lot going on in our minds and our brains. It can help to bring it downward, a sense of groundedness. And also a sense of connection. With that sense of groundedness, perhaps you would like to imagine a white cord of light from the sky down through the crown of your head, through your throat, through your chest, through your abdominals, your pelvis, all the way down to the ground. We have and we remember and we acknowledge a sense of groundedness and connection. That can also be a sense of connection to everyone else who's practicing together right now in real time, or in the replay, or practicing yoga, or any other embodiment movement practice, to help bring awareness, a sense of groundedness and connection for anybody else who's also going through a challenging process, who's also embracing and learning how to flow through any difficulties, any challenging emotions. We are all connected. We are all in this together. And also bringing a sense to the practice of anybody or anything that supports you in this process, in you being on your mat today. You can send gratitude, again, to whoever supports you. And as we bring attention to any difficult emotions, today's suggested emotion is worrying. Worrying is a natural emotion. Right? Our brains are set up for survival. So in many ways, our brain, our nervous system is programmed to look for things that may be challenging, to notice caution. A part of this practice is to notice what worries us and if it serves us positively. And really, we don't want to judge, but at the same time, to bring awareness to, yes, this is a process, this is how I may be wired, to look for caution, to be careful, and acknowledging it again without any judgments, but noticing the thought patterns, allowing worry to make itself known, and allow it to be information and not anything that we need to fix or push away. We'll notice our thoughts drifting. I'm sure you've heard it before, like clouds, like the weather across the sky, not trying to get attached to them or hooked by them. And instead of focusing on those thoughts, let's allow ourselves to drop down into the felt sense of what worry is in our body. How does worry manifest in your body? It's very common to feel it in your stomach. I often feel it in my head as I try to wrap my head around certain things and challenging situations. But notice for yourself where worry resides in your body, where it manifests, how it manifests. Now allow the breath to move and also hold space for this felt sensation of worry in your body. Right? The breath creates a space in which we could respond and observe or respond with right action rather than reacting by creating the space around it, and also to help move with this emotion or move through the emotion. Sometimes we hear, I've heard from some teachers that emotion is energy in motion. So that feeling of being stuck in our worriness, whatever that felt sense is, if that's that feeling of stuckness, whether it be in your head or in your belly, a sense of uneasiness, we use the breath and movement to help us process, to move through. And we first start with the breath. About 3 more full, not forceful cycles of breath. And noticing how that felt sense of worry or whatever difficult emotion you're working with changes. You may find that it softens. And we'll maintain this awareness of our felt sense, slowly opening your eyes. Make your way onto your hands and knees. And again, you can use the blanket to pad up your knees. We'll start off on hands and knees with cat-cows. Your own variation of cat-cows to get things moving. You're using the movement to move through any worriness, the felt sense, any difficult emotion. And then we'll change our habitual way, although you may have done it before, of doing cat-cow. Right? Worry often becomes a habit. So we're using this practice to bring awareness to our habitual patterns of being and moving. One little change can shift things by first melting the heart and coming into your cow posture, but let the head drop. And as you exhale, round through the spine and let the back of the head lift slightly. And do that 5 more times, rhythm of your own breath. So as you come into that cow posture, let the head drop. And as you round, lift the back of the head. Own breaths. We're making little changes so that we're not going on automatic. Often, our default, there's something called the negative default network, is to fall into a loop or into our habits that don't serve us positively, even though at some point they did, but no longer do. In yoga, it's known as samskaras. They're like grooves, they're habits. And we have some that, again, may have served us positively, but no longer do. And we can't change what we don't know. So allow this to be an awareness practice to shine light on those samskaras, on those grooves, and then move in any way that feels good to you. So as we explore an awareness practice through familiar and non-familiar shapes or postures or sequences, we invite in a sense of curiosity and playfulness. And let's prep our wrist. Start off with the wrist below your shoulders. Graded exposure for our wrists, for our hands, to show them some love. Keeping wrist extension, placing your hand at a different angle, lingering there for a moment or two before you switch between internal rotation and external rotation. So as we worry, that can often manifest as a sense of gripping, especially in our hands, in anticipation of what's to come, of the unknown. And they might even be, our hands might even be stuck in one plane of movement, again, out of habit or gripping in anticipation. So we compassionately explore new habits, new way of moving to balance everything out. Fingertips forward, and now the back of the hands. And you could change the angle by bringing the wrist slightly in front or less sensation closer to your knees. And again, graded exposure, different angles, slowly, slowly. And we'll meet center. Peel your hands away, stand on your knees, circle your wrist out, shake it out. And one of my favorite areas to explore, the upper back, the thoracic spine, tends to get sticky with modern day living. Sweep the arms up, inhale and exhale, right elbow underneath the left elbow. Stay here or have a seat on your heels. Lift the back of the heart, and as you exhale, round through the spine. So we'll explore ridding ourselves of the rigidity of our habits. Begin to circle the elbows to the bottom right corner, top left corner, and then bottom left corner. 2 more times like that, rhythm of your own breath. Focus also on the back of the heart. Maintaining a sense, again, of moving through with breath and movement. Any difficult emotion or worry, noticing how the movement affects your felt sense of worry. And we'll slowly release, lift the hips, stand on your knees, release your wings, and switch sides. Left elbow underneath, lower the hips down, lift the back of the heart. Chin could lift with the elbows and exhale, round. Breathe into your back body, that sense of connection and support. Maintain that sense of connection and support. Start with the bottom left corner to circle 3 times around. You can even allow your head, your chin to follow the direction of your elbows. Feel free to linger in any of those spots that need more time and attention. And we'll slowly meet after your last round, lifting your hips from your heels, reach your arms up, and release your arms. Let's come onto hands and knees for a moment, and then walk your knees back, and then lower all the way down onto your belly, forehead to the ground. We're gonna come into a variation of Locust Pose, swimming locust. We'll use something called cross patterning, which could be very therapeutic when going through difficult times. First things first, forehead to the ground, shoulders lift, lift your right leg up, turn your right knee down as you squeeze your right leg towards straight, and then lower the right leg down.
Lift your left leg, squeeze the left leg straight. Turn your left knee down, reach it back, and then lower down. Reach your right arm forward. Lift your left leg up from your left sitting bone. Pubic bone down, belly and ribs soften away from the ground, and lift your right armpit as you lift your right arm and lift your head. And then reach your left arm back behind you. So do opposite hand, opposite leg like we're swimming. So we'll circle the right arm to the right as you lift your right leg, lower the left and reach your left arm forward. Keep the chin slightly tucked and keep alternating there. Opposite arm, opposite leg. And less is more with this. Think about lengthening away from the ground rather than lifting. And breathing here. 4 more times. And 3. And 2. And 1. Slowly and mindfully as you can, releasing. Overlap your hands, top of the mat, forehead to your hands. And allow your belly to breathe towards the ground on each inhale. And each exhale, belly and ribs soften away from the ground. This could be very nice shape, grounding and breathing practice. And slowly make your way onto your hands and knees into puppy dog pose, a variation. So puppy dog pose, it's almost like a quarter dog. Knees directly below your hips, either curl the toes under or stay on the tops of the feet. And come onto your fingertips in like a downward dog shape here, and keep your armpits lifted. And keep your ears about in line with your biceps, with your arms. So thigh bone straight up and down, either curl the toes under or press the tops of the feet down. Belly and ribs soften and lengthen through the back of your skull and breathe. So as the armpits lift, allow the heart to melt. So there's a sense of form and flow, the form being pressing the fingertips down, lift the armpits, and the flowing of your heart. Slowly make your way forward enough to come into downward facing dog. Curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back. So we're allowing these semi-inversions and inversions to be an opportunity to allow the contents of your brain to drip down to the ground as you bring awareness to your felt sense. And then inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees. Press the hands down and forward and bring more of the weight back into your legs. Releasing your neck. You can even shake your head out, yes and no. And walk your hands all the way to the back of the mat until your heels come down to the ground. Keep the knees bent. Belly and thighs connect. So allow your upper body and your torso to be supported by your legs, ragdoll. Or you can even keep your hands on the ground and offer and surrender and let go of anything that doesn't serve you positively. Back of the hands, rest on the ground, palms facing upward, letting go. And again, allow the contents of your brain to drip down to the ground as you bring awareness to the points of contact on the ground and your breath. And slowly releasing, hands can release to the ground. Roll it on up, press down through the feet, roll it on up. One vertebrae at a time. Head is the last thing to come on up. 3 shoulder circles at the top. And we'll mindfully make our way, walking to the top of the mat. As you come to the top of the mat, finding your stance wherever you're comfortable today. Taking a stand in any way that helps you feel grounded and centered. And we'll bring awareness to our breath again by feeling our breath, not only feeling our breath, but also hearing our breath, our internal support system. So you're going to take your hands to your ears, cup your ears, and give yourself a good couple cycles of breath to feel and hear your breath, to feel and hear your internal support system. So you're cupping your hands, your ears with your hands. You're feeling your feet on the ground, and you're feeling and hearing your breath.
Relaxing your face, slowly release your hands and maintain this awareness of your breath, feeling and hearing your breath. A couple rounds of sun A's. Root down, rise up, extended mountain pose. Inhale, whatever variation you like at the top. Exhaling, flowing down. Feeling and hearing your breath. Halfway lift, inhale, long spine. And as you exhale, hands on the ground, step it back, plank. Inhale at the top, and as you exhale, lower your knees down and lower all the way down, chaturanga. Locust cobra or upward facing dog, whatever you need today, listening and feeling for your breath. And we'll meet in downward facing dog for a good couple of cycles of breath, about 3 cycles of breath in your down dog. Again, feeling your points of contact and hearing and feeling your breath. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, and bottom of your exhale, step, hop, or float to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, long spine, and exhale, fold. Root down, rise up, extended mountain pose, and exhale, arms to your side or hands to your heart. Do that 2 more times, rhythm of your own breath, listening and feeling your breath. Own rhythm, own breath, listening to your internal metronome, if you will, and your internal support system. Unhurried and unrushed. We'll be in down dog for about 3 cycles of your own breath, listening and feeling your breath. We could so easily get caught up in our thoughts, in our worrying. And allow your breath and the feeling of the earth beneath you to be an anchor or a home base to come back to when you notice. With that practice of awareness, we may have about 1 more round. Listening and feeling for your breath and your feet. Maybe even notice how the physical boundaries of your body and your being meet the atmosphere that surrounds and supports you as well. You also are supported by space, by our external landscape. And we'll meet in mountain pose. So feel free to flow forward. We'll meet in mountain pose at the top. And again, cupping your hands with your ears, feeling and hearing, listening to your own breath, to your own internal support system. Soft face, curious approach. And slowly release your arms to the sides. And we'll move on. We'll flow on. Root down, rise up, extended. Exhale, hands to the heart and fold forward still. Listening for the breath. Inhale. Exhale, stepping it back, plank. Inhale, pause. Maintaining a sense of buoyancy as you lower down. Locust cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, and step your right foot forward. Spin the back foot flat. Make your way on up to warrior 2. Pause there for a moment, feeling your feet in the earth, finding your power in the path by finding your feet. And triangle pose, straighten out your right leg. And placing your right hand in a comfortable place on your right shin or a block, left arm to the sky. Finding a comfortable place for your gaze, so it could be down, forward, or up. And again, noticing how the felt sense of worry feels in your body, again, without any judgment. Maybe it's transformed, maybe it's changed with this breath and movement. Slowly make your way into extended side angle pose. Bend the right knee, right forearm to right thigh. Left bicep over left ear. Right forearm can stay on your right thigh, or reaching for the ground or a block outside or inside of your right foot. Again, rooting down through those points of contact that may include your right fingertips on the block or ground. Couple more cycles of breath. Noticing and becoming aware without trying to fix. Slowly releasing both fingertips to the ground and ball the back foot. Variation of runner's lunge. Inhale, press through the feet to lengthen the spine forward. And as you exhale, bring your hips back and flex your right ankle as you lengthen the right leg. Then inhale, again, forward bend through the front knee. Just gotta fix technology here. We'll do that 5 more times. Own breath. Five more times, own breath. And after your last round, we'll meet with the right knee bent and begin to shift the weight forward and back with your left heel reaching back and forward a couple of times. And let's make our way into a seated twist. So as you shift the weight more forward, you're going to take your left knee to the outside of your right foot. A seated twist here. Right hand to your lower back. Reach the left arm up so you're long through the spine as you twist and give yourself a hug, either left elbow crease to right knee, or you can hook. Meet yourself where you are. You're making sure you take a shape in which you can feel and settle into yourself. Right? Forcing cuts us off from feeling, and we often are in a place of forcing when we try to do the quote unquote deepest variation. So often less is more. Breathing here for another 3, 2, and 1. Slowly releasing. Now turn to an open twist. So you're going to turn to the left. We'll come into an interesting transition here. We're going to make our way into wide-legged straddle. So you shift the weight into your right toes. So you begin to turn your right toes to the left as you lift your hips and step your left foot to the back of the mat. We'll come into wide-legged straddle. Again, we're using opportunities to move and enter postures in a different way. Balance in and out. And whatever you like with the hands below the shoulders, the shins, the ankles, the big toes, also interlace the hands behind your back if that feels good to you. And keeping those legs nice and strong, the connection of your feet into the earth, shift the weight slightly forward towards your toes so that you're not collapsing into the back of your knees and your hips are not collapsing back. Another opportunity to allow the contents of your brain, the worrying mind, to drip down to the ground as you feel the earth, and you can hear and also feel your breath. Slowly releasing, coming into a halfway lift, long spine, and walk your hands to the original front of the mat into that low lunge. Keep your fingertips on the ground, slide your right foot halfway back, and left hand flat on the ground. Left wrist maybe slightly in front of left shoulder. Right hand to right hip, and then turn all your toes to the right until you spin onto the outer edge of your left foot. Spin your left elbow crease to the front of the mat, left shoulder blade back of the heart. Lift the bottom hip up even higher. Now feel the points of contact and press down. Right arm can reach up to the sky, stay here, or right leg over the left. Hug the inner thighs together and breathe, feeling and listening to your breath for 3, 2, and 1. Releasing hands to the ground, downward facing dog, or take a high to low push up. You could pedal it out, moving it any way that feels good to you. And inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees. And as you exhale, step your left foot forward, spin the back foot flat, Make your way into warrior two. And again, finding a moment or two to find your feet, finding your power on the path, and straighten out the front leg, triangle pose, placing your left hand where it's comfortable. And we want to find a shape that is comfortable in which to listen and feel our breath, and also to observe, again, that felt sense of worry in your body. Noticing how that may change and transmute with movement and breath and awareness and compassion. Bending the left knee, extended side angle, left forearm to left thigh. You can sweep the right bicep over your right ear. Again, finding your feet, finding your power in the path, or reaching left fingertips to the ground or to a block. And again, feeling for the ground and also pressing away so that we're not collapsing. Always meeting yourself where you are by taking a shape in which you can still hear and feel your breath. Settle into yourself and release both hands to the ground, back heel spins to the sky. Inhale, press down into the earth, lengthen through the spine, receive the abundance of your breath. And as you exhale, bring the hips back, lengthen the front leg, and flex your entire left ankle. Let's do that about 5 more times. Rhythm of your own breath, unhurried and unrushed. After your last round, we'll meet in that runner's lunge variation and rock it forward and back by reaching the right heel back and then forward. And we'll make our way into that seated twist. You're going to take your right knee to the outside of your left foot. It may be helpful to move your left foot a little bit more to the right. Seated twist, left hand behind you. Right arm reaches up, keeping both sitting bones heavy towards the ground. And as you exhale, twist. Give yourself a hug. Even though this is a sort of twisting, binding situation, can you leave enough room in the shape for yourself and your breath? Being able to feel and listen to your breath while maintaining those points of contact to the earth. And slowly releasing, turning to the right. So you'll shift your weight into your left foot. Left toes will begin to turn to the left. As you press your hands down, lift the hips and step your right foot towards the back of the mat. And bringing all 10 toes in one line, taking your favorite variation of a wide-legged straddle. If you do have a headstand practice, you can feel free to explore tripod headstand. Please don't make this the first time you do it. You can meet yourself where you are. Any other inversion you like, and breathing. Softening your face. And if you are in an inversion, slowly make your way on out. Halfway lift, inhale. And as you exhale, walk your hands to the original front of the mat into that runner's lunge. Sliding your left foot back halfway. So left foot about underneath your left hip. Right palm flat, right wrist slightly in front of right shoulder, left hand to left hip. Turn all your toes to the left. Right shoulder blade to the back of the heart. Lift the bottom hip up even higher. Left arm up to the sky. Stay here or stack your left leg on top of your right. Turning your right elbow crease to the front of the mat. Hug your inner thighs together and breathe, listening and feeling for your breath. For another 3, 2, and 1. Both hands down to the ground. Step it back, downward facing dog, or take a high to low push-up in between if that's what you need. And then lift your heels, bend your knees, half pigeon pose. Bringing your right knee forward to the outside of your right wrist for today, or any other variation you like. Look back at your left leg and make sure the left leg is coming straight out from your left hip.
You can curl the back toes under and slide the left knee back. So even though we're not going to take our super crazy active variation today, make sure you're maintaining relative activity of hugging front knee to back knee. Feel free to come down to your elbows or to blocks. You can even use blocks or stack one fist on top of the other to support your head. And if you're on your elbows, be mindful that your elbows are slightly in front of your shoulders so you're maintaining a sense of length through the side body in which to, again, invite in a healing, nourishing breath, the abundance of your breath. In hip openers especially, the drama tends to bubble up when we forget to breathe. So like we did in the beginning of practice, using your breath to cultivate a space to respond rather than react. If you like, you can notice where that felt sense is of worry in your body and allow the movement of the breath to either help soften, to hold space, but we're not trying to push away and we're not trying to fix. Allowing all emotions to be as they are, as messengers. Right? What we resist persists, and that is often the case with difficult emotions. One of my teachers would say, especially regarding fear, difficult emotion, using the breath and the mantra to say, I see you, let's have tea, tell me what you need to tell me. Right, holding space for it all. And then slowly making your way on to your hands. And moving out of this posture with the same intention that you had coming out of it. Unhurried, unrushed, doesn't have to be pretty. You can be as many steps as you need to make your way into downward facing dog. You can feel free to pedal it out or lift that right leg to the sky, circle the right ankle or shake the leg out. Let's go in with whatever your body's asking for, and then right foot to the ground. Lift your heels, bend your knees. And then left knee forward to the outside of your left wrist. Again, we're not trying to go for any of the deepest variations, leaving enough space to feel. Look back at your right leg and make sure your right leg's coming straight out from your right hip. Curl the back toes under. You can slide the leg back. You can use bolsters or pillow or blocks underneath your hips to help support you. Bolster can slide right underneath your left hip and in front of your right thigh. This side might be a different story. So meet yourself where you are here. For this variation, allow your head to be supported because again, we are focusing, especially in a state of worry, to maintain a sense of groundedness. So when the head is hanging below the shoulders without support, it can bring in a sense of gripping. And if we're gripping in the shoulders and the head, again, that in a way can support our habitual patterns of bracing that happens when we worry, or holding our heads high, often brings a disconnection from the rest of the body. And we want to drop into our body instead of being trapped in the thoughts or the worrying that often brings us out of our bodies. Again, noticing that felt sense of worry in your body, noticing the worrying mind, and using the tools of feeling the ground, of getting grounded and connected, and also listening and feeling your breath, your internal support system, your internal compass. Right? We can gauge and get an idea of where we are in a shape or situation or posture by the movement of our breath. If we're moving, at the breath is moving, and at the pace in which it's moving. Couple more cycles of breath, releasing your jaw and the corners of your eyes, maybe a little smile. As you welcome it all without any judgments. Allowing this moment to unfold as it is without trying to change it or fix it. And slowly make your way on out. Slowly, slowly, as many steps as you need. As you press down through the hands, you can lift the back knee and then the left knee. Downward facing dog, and take a high to low push-up in between if you like. And we'll meet on our knees into child's pose, whatever variation you like. The big toes could touch and the knees slightly wider apart. Reach the arms forward or the knees together for more sense of support. And flip the palms up as you sweep the arms back, rocking your forehead side to side, massaging your third eye center, your brow. Allow the front of your brain to soften towards the middle of the brain, and middle of the brain towards the back of the brain. Relaxing your throat and your shoulders. In this shape of surrender, in this shape of self-achieved submission to the process, whatever process you're going through. Connecting to that sense of support, especially in the back body. See if you can invite and send a little bit more breath to your back body. Notice how that may change, again, that felt sense of worry in your body. Where does it reside? And let's slowly make our way onto our hands and knees. Crossing at your ankles, come onto your bottom for some flowing bridges. You may need to move your bottom closer towards the front of the mat. Arms at the sides, palms facing down. And press down through the outline of your feet. Lift your hips, reach your arms overhead. As you exhale, lower your arms, lower your hips. 5 more times, rhythm of your own breath. Now, as you flow through these bridges, make sure you're lifting from your back body, right? That area of sense of support, rather than the front body. Often we over-effort ourselves out of certain situations and postures, right? Individual self being represented by the front of the body. If you can allow the belly and ribs, the organs to reside in a more centralized place as you accept the support of your back body, anyone or anything that you thought of in the beginning of your practice today. And after your 5 rounds, feel free to take any other posture you feel like you need to help round out your practice. That could be in happy baby pose, maybe a supine twist. Anywhere between 6 to 8 cycles of breath. Try not to think about it too much. Kind of go with that sensation of where your body would like to move in this moment, not necessarily where you think you should move. Right? May not be the posture that you normally do at the end of practice. Instead, tapping into how the body would like to move in this moment with this breath. And we'll meet in resting pose. Whatever shape that is for you, you can feel free to take a blanket underneath your head. Often I like to take the corner of a blanket and position it somewhere where the corner supports the base of my skull.
Right. So especially the head feeling supported can help us again allow ourselves to soften the space in between our ears, whatever you like with the legs and the arms. You could feel free to take up lots of space if that's what you feel like you need, even off your mat. If you feel like you need to expand out of the limitations, beyond the limits of your mats, go for it. As you reflect on any insights you may have gained about yourself, about your practice, accepting the support of the ground, noticing the points of contact beneath you. You are supported. Again, feeling and listening for your breath, to your breath. If you want another opportunity to cup your hands over your ears to again feel that internal support system. Inviting more space in between your teeth, top and bottom, especially the molars, the back teeth. Allowing the bones of your face to be heavy, the back of your skull. And offering up those insights to the vast ocean of consciousness. Allowing yourself to be filled with peace and awareness. Allow yourself about another minute or two to feel this sense of support as you enter a space of non-doing, just as important as the doing. And you can stay here as long as you need, or slowly begin to deepen your breath, bringing movement back to fingers and toes, gently turning your head side to side. And with awareness, bending one knee and the other in towards your chest, giving yourself a hug of gratitude for investing this time on your mat. And with awareness, rolling on over to your right side. Head is the last thing to come on up. Slowly push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes could be closed, and again, soft gaze. Overlap your hands on top of your heart, or you could bring your palms together in front of your heart. Feeling the connection of your sitting bones, those points of contact into the ground. Also, as you feel and listen to your breath, Let's take a moment to bow down to our teacher, our inward, the difficult emotion teaching us, guiding our practice today. Today was worry. You can even say thank you for keeping me safe, for me to be aware. And now think of anything else in your life that you're grateful for, no matter how big or small. We'll end together with one cleansing breath. First, empty out all the air from your lungs. Inhale through your nose, fill up. And exhale out of your mouth. And as always, gratitude for practicing together. May it all be a benefit to us and everybody else around us. Namaste. Thank you for practicing together. Yay. Everybody who's in teacher training, excuse me, let's meet